Number 4, a quick one. No, that was my English accent. It's gonna come out more and more because we're doing the Who, and it just has to. I don't know what they even said there. A quick, they know. I think if you just add like to the end of like a shitty English accent, it makes it okay, right? Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and well, that's pretty much it. So let's go. Hey.
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we listen to all of their records and we rank them from worst to best. And we try to give our biggest banger off of each of them if we have them. But before we do that, we usually get into the 6 Degrees of Tom DeLonge, which I actually totally forgot about this week. Totally forgot about until right now. So did you do any of that? Or no?
I did not.
Okay. So we could skip past that. We're just doing the rankings today. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars on there. Tell all your friends. All the social media is at Asinine Radio. And if you didn't already know, my name is Tyler, and we up there hundreds of miles away is Jeff. And so, yeah, we're doing the Who this week, obviously. Who? And we listened to all 12 of their records, so you did not have to do that because, yeah, it was something. It was something, to say the least.
Yeah.
So let's start with the worst record from the Who. What do you got for number 12? Go.
They have a lot of worst records, actually.
A lot of worst records.
Yeah, I will say Who by the Who, like their 2019 output. I think that's their worst record.
Okay.
Why does this exist? Why is this here? Like what were we doing with this? And it wasn't going to be my worst record. But one song in particular really... Oh, God. Dude, this is their worst fucking song. Danny and My Ponies. This is their worst song that they've ever done. And not even
pretty bad.
It's not even
but it's a deluxe song, right?
It is a deluxe song, yes. But it's not even close. It's not even close to being like in contention for any other song that they've ever done. This is fucking... You just have to listen to this. Yeah, you just got to listen to this. Dude, like, this is their attempt at country with auto-tune. The fuck is this?
A lot of auto-tune.
Like, what the fuck is this? This was bad. Bad.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all. So, Who, their latest record from 2019, is your least favorite? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, my number 12 is It's Hard.
It's
their
hard.
10th record from 1982. Yes, because you're from Boston. This one starts off okay. And it's reminiscent of some of the better songs off of the album Face Dances, the one prior to this. But overall, it's just boring. It's just boring, man. It doesn't have some of the over the top stuff that's on Face Dances. I really have like nothing written about this record. I just don't think it was very good.
Fucking dumb. Who cares?
Yeah, there's just like shitty synth. It's just 80s garbage, and it doesn't have Keith Moon. I mean, not really any disrespect to was it Kenny?
Kenny
Chesney. His name right now. Kenny Chesney. Yeah, he's not a bad drummer, but he's not Keith Moon. So, yeah, It's Hard is my number 12. What do you got for number 11?
It's hard.
It's hard.
Like from Boston, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is I didn't even get through this one. This is absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. And that band Faces or Small Faces, I don't like that band either.
Mm-hmm.
Like at my old record store I used to work at, we had a bunch of the records in, and I was like, oh, I wonder if this is kind of cool because they're all like pretty decent price, and I was like, I wonder if that's pretty good. Nah, just boring shit I don't fucking like. But this is garbage, dude. It's hard as fucking garbage. Don't care.
It is okay. So that's all you got for that one?
That's it.
All right. So yeah, my number 11 is Who, from 2019. I have no banger. This record is not very good. It does capture some energy that was missing from the one prior, which was in 2006. Forgot the name of it right now, but yeah. Or what is that? What is the record?
2006.
Endless Wire. Yeah, Endless Wire.
Yeah.
Like, it has a little bit more energy. Like at first, like the first couple songs, you're like, okay, this is okay. It's not bad. These guys are like mid 60s, but it's not bad. and then there's like some shitty ass ballads, and then like you said, what's the name of the song? The last song, it's pure garbage. I forgot the name of it right now. Puppy song.
Danny My Ponies.
Danny My Ponies. Yeah, that's what it is. Terrible songs. So yeah, Who is my number 11? I don't care. I really don't want to talk about this anymore. So what do you got for number 10?
It's pretty incredible. Endless Wire. I don't know. No, Face Dances. Fari there.
Dances.
Face Dances,
Mm-hmm.
their 9th record. This is their first one without Moon. This is extremely rough to get through. I cannot even fucking believe. And it's funny because Face Dances, Kenny Jones is it Small Faces or Face? I think it's Small Faces.
I think it's Small Faces. Yeah.
It's funny because we sell Face Dances and it's hard at the record store for like $5. And I always think like, damn, I can't believe the Who sells for $5. And it's sad. And I do think it's sad. I do think it's tragic when Zeppelin's, selling for way more, Floyd's selling for way more, when the Who are like, just as influential, but not just as good. And so this week reaffirmed that I will never sell Face Dances or It's Hard in our store for more than $5 because it's not even fucking worth $5.
It's not.
And if anybody ever buys it, I'm probably just going to give it to them. Or I might just confiscate it. That's probably what I'll do. I'll just confiscate it.
Just burn them.
Yeah. Dude, Face Dances sucks. Garbage.
I think it was this one, right? That Rolling Stone at the time gave a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
5 out of 5 stars.
They're fucking
Come
idiots.
on, guys. Come on.
But that's like, that makes sense, right? Because Keith Moon just died. This is their first record back and like they're trying so hard. It's like, dude, don't fucking, I don't know. What are you pandering? Don't be pandering.
Yeah. Yeah. You're totally right.
Like you can feel bad for somebody, but also be like, dude, this record sucks. I feel bad for what happened, but this record sucks.
I agree. It's not being objective. That's what it is. So yeah, Face Dances is also my number 10. I got nothing, no banger off this one. It's very much more pop driven than everything they had ever done. More synth, a lot more synth actually. But I don't care about this one. The only saving grace about this record is John's bass playing. That's about it. He has some really cool shit on this record, but otherwise, yeah, the songs are not strong at all. And the drumming, once again, Kenny Jones is not a bad drummer. But his style is so different from Keith Moon, like completely different, the opposite of Keith Moon.
Well, you go from so like Kenny Chesney, right? You go from a good drummer, great drummer,
an idiot,
and you're supposed to replace like a top 5 rock drummers of all time. Like, come on, that's silly boy talk.
I know, makes no sense.
Unrealistic goals, like unrealistic expectations,
or at least like make the songs better. I really just make the songs better, make them more. I don't know. I have no idea. Kenny Jones, whatever. He's fine, or Kenny Chesney, he's fine. But this album sucks. I don't care. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Fart Dances is my number 10. What do you got for number 9?
Number 9, Endless Wire. Compared to the 80s shit, like this is an amazing record.
It's far better.
This truly is compared to the 80s stuff. This is an amazing record. But much like the Metallica or Sabbath stuff that we talked about, their newest records, this just sounds like a Who cover band who were covering Who songs and decided to write their own material. Much like Sabbath 13, much like Metallica's new record. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just derivative. Like, okay, I get it. It's cute.
That's fair, but I mean, I don't agree with the Metallica and Sabbath, but
there's nothing wrong with either of those two records.
But there are things wrong with this. Because at least
there's something wrong with the band. Because the band is not as great as Metallica or Sabbath.
But also, at least there's energy on those Metallica and that Sabbath record. With this record, because this is also my number 9, Endless Wire is. There's no oomph. It's just very low energy. They sound tired. They don't sound like they have their heart into it. Like it's very lazy. It's a lazy sounding record. It's not bad, but it lacks any energy. It lacks all energy, which, unlike Sabbath and Metallica, there's a lot of energy. There's still something there, just not with this Endless Wire record. I just don't care for it. Or even like look at fucking Van Halen, that record that they did with David Lee Roth like in 2012. That record is fucking amazing. I even texted you this week. I listened to it again, And dude, that album they did, that last Van Halen record, is so fucking good. So there's no excuse as to why the Who had to put out a bad record. If Van Halen could do it in 2012, and we all know Van Halen had they had a lot more to live up to when David Lee Roth came back than this record in 2006. And Van Halen fucking nailed it.
And but also too, like Van Halen's put out great records before. The Who haven't really done that same thing as often
as Van Halen. Yeah,
dude, that should be.
The first.
God damn, man! Like, why is it not like a fucking Record Store Day reissue? Right, a different kind of truth. That should be a Record Store Day reissue. It's only pressed what, like once, twice, three times?
No, once when it came out.
Oh my god, dude! Like, why are we not? Like, how many fucking Emerson, Lake and Palmers that we had? No, because it's on YouTube. I'm not going to do it.
Oh, yeah. You're a little fussy boy.
I hate YouTube.
You can just throw it on your computer when you're at work at the record store. Just throw it on in the background.
I don't know what that means. I don't know how to do that.
Connect your computer Bluetooth to your speakers.
Too many steps. Like when you're traveling in basketball, too many steps.
Do it on your fucking phone. You can do it on your laptop too. Oy, this fucking guy. Anyway. So number 9, let's move on. What do you got for number 8?
Too many steps. Who are you? Their 8th record, 1978. Okay. This
one.
This is the beginning of the end. Like this record is not good, and I didn't mention it until now because I wanted to save it because this is when I really, really noticed it. But like this is some type of like Meatloaf shit or like Rocky Horror Picture Show tune sounding record, and I get it. Like late 70s England, the Who are dinosaurs at this point. Punk is taking over. The band is in terrible shape. There's drugs. There's infighting, and it's an overall distaste for making music. And this is fucking pathetic. They're still cranking out radio tunes here, which is insane. Because unfortunately these songs live forever. I think this record is bad. I think this record is almost as bad as their 80s outputs. It's close. It really is. It really is fucking close.
Yeah.
But like, who are you, dude? I cannot fucking believe that. I don't like this song at all. But like, fuck me catchy. If I don't hear this constantly. Because Renee watches all these fucking crime shows.
Oh, NCIS or whatever it
is.
Dude,
whatever the fuck it is. And it's so irritating. And I hear this shit everywhere. But it is catchy and I fucking hate it. And I hate that I go, hoo, 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 hoo. Oh, it bothers me so much.
They've probably made more money off of having that song as the theme song than any other singles from their entire career. Like how much that show is replayed. Like the royalties must be insane from that song.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, yeah, this album too is my number 8.
It's not good.
It's like you said, the last of Keith Moon. At this point in his life, like he was on a major downward spiral. He could barely play the drums. He could barely play the drums on this record. Couldn't even hold it together for like a full take. He was just so fucked up. Then he died like 2 months after the record came out, which is tragic. But I mean, he put himself into that position, and
he didn't even play drums on all the songs on this because he was too fucked up. They had to like hire people to play drums on some of these songs.
One of the songs, supposedly one of the songs. Yes, but the rest Keith played on.
Does some equal one, or you have to have more than one to equal some?
I think you have to have more than one to equal some. Yeah. Because isn't it
like if I had a handful of Skittles and you were like, "Hey, let me get some," and I gave you one, would you be like, "Oh, thank you," or would you be like, "What the fuck, dude? I want some"?
I mean, I would say thank you because I'm polite, but then I would expect more than one.
Okay, so like some has to equal more than one.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Yes. Who are you? This is all. They experiment also with some synth on here, like more so than any record up to this point. They dabbled in it, obviously, but yeah, this one was there. There were quite a few songs that were more synth led than anything else. And another thing, which I'm sure we'll talk about on the main episode, but Pete, he doesn't play his guitar. He doesn't play guitar as much as I thought he did. He's more of a multi-instrumentalist and a songwriter than an actual guitar player, which is cool. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
He's not a great guitar player. He's a great innovator, but he's not a great guitar player.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Do you also do the whoo, whoo part whenever you hear the song, though?
You got to do that. It's too catchy not to do that.
So annoying.
Oh man. All right. So what do you got for number 7?
The Who by Numbers, their 7th record.
Okay.
The one right before Who Are You? I get why this exists. They can't just keep putting out like high conceptual album after album. Pete is tired. He's tired of writing. He's tired of writing, and so he's drained. He's drained, and there's some sad songs here, but like I think like the overall emotion and the overall like oomph from the Who that I want, it's just not here, and it's just I think this is a very, very boring record, and it's the last good record I guess they did,
Yeah.
but it's the worst of it. Because I don't think Who Are You is really good. Everything after Who Are You is just complete garbage. But like this is not
Okay.
very. This is not a good record, and the cover art is absolutely horrendous, and I fucking hate it.
It's not that bad.
So that's it. Dude, I fucking hate this cover art.
It's okay. I mean, in the end, pretty much all their covers are not good. They're all bad. They're all dumb. So
That's true.
they're all pretty dumb. They're all pretty dumb. All right, so my number 7 is people might be upset with me about this, but it's Quadrophenia for their 6th album from 1973. This one and my number 6, which I'll get into in a moment, but my number 7 and 6 they're interchangeable. Quadrophenia, I just thought it was really boring. I mean, this is them trying to do Tommy Part 2, super like just a concept record, very kind of convoluted. Pete was trying to do some new things with like tape, with like looping and tapes and all that kind of shit, and playing to clicks, especially live, which ended up being a huge disaster for them when they went to go play this record live. Which you can read all about. Yeah, he was super pissed. He was like yelling at like the roadies and shit.
He pulled
and, like,
the guy out
fighting
on
him.
stage and fucking like scolded him.
Yeah, and destroyed the tapes on stage and shit.
Like, bro,
And then they left
how
and
you
then
get laid out. That's how you get killed by your roadies.
And then they came out like 20 minutes later and played like a bunch of old songs, and people loved it. And then they destroyed all their instruments. So yeah, anyway, yeah. So this one, I don't think it's nearly as strong as Tommy, and I don't care. Like, I think the band I think this is the beginning of their exhaustion, the years of touring, partying, and just being a fucking band. It's too much. It was too much. So I really don't think this is that great of a record. I've had it on vinyl, purged it obviously, but Quadrophenia is my number 7. So we got for number 6.
Number 6, Quadrophenia. I don't disagree with what you said.
There you go. You're an idiot.
See how annoying that is? See how
It is annoying.
see how worthless that is?
I've stopped saying it since you called me out on it last week. I've stopped saying it. So
I don't disagree. Meaning like yeah, whatever. We talked about that last episode.
it's on the no list.
As it should be, because it means nothing. Ambitious. This record is ambitious. It may be their most ambitious thing they've ever done. You know, they abandoned the Lighthouse Project and then basically tried to double down on like Tommy and the ambition. There's so much going on to this story. Honestly, there's so much going on to the story. It's as if like Billy Corgan fucking tried to write it.
Hey,
There's
Billy Corgan's better than that.
Dude, there's way too much going on. There's like 4 parts to the story, and each part is supposed to represent each band member's like personal psyche and how they deal. Like, get the fuck out of here. You're not that good. You're just not. You were the first to do it, pretty much. Does not make you like God tier.
Yeah,
Still good.
And once again, he already did it with Tommy.
Yeah,
So he has nothing to prove with making this record.
and that's my biggest problem is it's too late. Tommy has a lot to take in. I just don't need 2 of them.
Yeah.
But it's still a good record. I still enjoy listening to this record like through and through. I've had this like 3 times in the vinyls, and every time I like, damn, this is really good. But I really think, am I gonna go back to this over Tommy? No way. But there's a lot of cleverness to this one, and it's a fun listen. It's just too pretentious and overblown.
Okay, so yeah, my number 6 is The Who by Numbers. We're pretty much the same, at this point. 7th record from 1975. This album's fine. Once again, like I said, this can be interchangeable with Quadrophenia. Nothing very memorable about this one outside of the big single that is Squeezebox, which actually is a great fucking song. Also, reading more about the behind the scenes on this one, Pete Townshend was depressed. He had writer's block. He was about to turn 30 years old, and he wasn't able to write a record. And then when he eventually got the inspiration, this is what we got. Reminds me a lot of The Cure. Remember when we did The Cure last week? We talked about Robert Smith doing, what was it? Disintegration. That was the same thing. He was going through this crisis, like early midlife crisis at the time when he was turning 30, and then he came out with Disintegration, and the Who come out with this. And honestly, Disintegration is a much better record than this Who record. That's the way she goes.
Okay.
So you would agree with me on that. Come on.
Yeah, after doing The Cure last week. No, 2 weeks.
We did. Yeah. No, we did it last week. Yeah, we did it last week.
Oh, I get it, because this is next week, but we're not actually next week.
So I was looking back on my notes real quick, and I wrote down for one of these albums, I don't know why I wrote this and it makes no sense, but I just wrote, songs just aren't song.
Sure. Songs just aren't songs.
Songs just aren't song. I have no idea what I was trying to say there.
Probably songs just aren't memorable, and you probably got so fucking bored that you were just looking at what you're typing and just wrote songs again.
Songs just aren't song. Oh, man. Stupid.
Songs just
So what do you got for... So what do you got for number 5?
Number 5, The Who Sell Out. Here's where we get to things that I think I would go back to, that I have gone back to, that I enjoy, that I find, if nothing else, then just damn, that was pretty fucking cool. That was interesting. And The Who Sell Out, I think, may be their most interesting thing they've ever done.
You're dropping that word a lot.
What? Interesting? Because it's fucking weird. It is very, very interesting.
A lot today.
This one reminds me of a band just goofing off the whole time. None of these songs are really serious on the surface, but again, they're planting the seeds of something great. What I think is great, and just overall too. The last song tells the story, a short story of a deaf, dumb, and blind kid. So that's cool. Mm. But this is a concept album. This is a concept album like a pirate radio station, and I think that's fucking weird. That's cool. They did it in a very, very amateur-esque way. So it's not something that's going to be historic. It's not something that's going to be looked upon with an objective lens and think wow, that you did a really fucking good job here. But these kids are really trying hard to do something different and break away from the mold of the late 60s English rock. Sixties. Oh, Sixties. Every time I make a mistake talking, I don't know why, but I always make fun of my own voice in this nerdy kind of voice, tone, right? Why does that Sixties? What? I don't know where that comes from. So weird. It's I respect them for doing this. I respect them for trying this. Did again 67 English rock in the late 60s. We know what it sounds like. You know what I mean? It sounds. Yeah. It doesn't sound. I wouldn't say it sounds the same, but it's the same kind of style. It's very typical. There's a lot of great shit coming out of that era, but it's the same style. It's very typical.
A lot of Beatles inspired shit. Definitely.
Yeah, dude. We're getting into the hard rock of the 70s here in the late 60s, but this is something different. They straight up just don't give a fuck about getting sued with product placement and everything. They just fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah, in every way, musically, with the commercials on the album, and then the artwork too. With Roger. Was it Roger sitting in the bathtub of beans, the Heinz beans, and he's holding up the container of Heinz baked beans?
Yeah,
it's just they did not give a fuck.
Secret stick deodorant under his armpit, and it's just they did not give a shit.
Yeah,
the album's not good. I don't think it's a good album. I don't think the songs are good, but damn, dude, I like what they did with it.
Yeah. So I mean, this is my number 5 as well. The Who Sell Out. I wrote that I like it because of the concept and how cheeky it is. Throwing a British term out there, how cheeky the commercials and the whole album overall is, and because that's exactly what it is. I think that's the best way to describe it because they are British and it is cheeky. So there you go. I'm becoming a Britlander. Skip would be proud. Yeah, this is a cool record. I would never go back to it.
Do you agree though? The music's not great, but you like what they were doing with it.
Yes, exactly. That's the best way to put it. And not to say that the songs are bad because they're not bad at all.
Yeah.
But they're still very much of that Beatles-esque sound which was just a lot of like their first 4 records. A lot of it sounds, especially like John's songs, the ones that he wrote and sang on, those are very, very Beatles inspired. But you also hear it with a lot of Pete songs as well. So I don't know. This is just a different form of the Beatles on this one. That's how I feel about it. But the pirate radio thing is cool too. I do like that, and how they got sued by various companies and
Immediately.
Yeah, and I think even like the British government, or at least the BBC, went after them as well for like essentially promoting pirate radio and shit like that. And that's another thing too, like how crazy the BBC is and that country in general is that, you know, there's only like 7 radio stations and TV stations, especially at the time. I guess it was like here, that was like here in the States too, but I mean, pirate radio didn't exist here. I don't even think in the 60s it existed here.
We had like
there wasn't like
we had people
the FCC didn't exist.
pirating radio like in their basement and shit. But again, our country is so fucking big that like for every Tom, Dick, and Harry pirating, you know, radio stations in their basement, what, like per county, per state, per region, there's thousands of people doing this.
That's true. And I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I think the entirety of the United Kingdom is the size of California. So that's like 4 countries in just the state of California. Right? There's 4 countries, I think. Maybe 5. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Geography 101 with Asinine Radio.
That's American education, dude.
I think there's
That's 4. California education, I should say.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. The Who sell out, my number 5. What do you got for number 4?
Number 4, a quick one. No, that was my English accent. It's gonna come out more and more because we're doing the Who, and it just has to. I don't know what they even said there. Hey, quick, they know. I think if you just add like to the end of like a shitty English accent, it makes it okay, right?
So based off of what you just did, I want Skip to try to identify what accent that was, what dialect, what accent that was in Britland. Was that Liverpool? Was that, I don't know, what was that?
It's a fucking Cockney Scouse, you know. Say it again. I don't know why I do the thing after everything.
I don't know why either.
Is that good though? Is that? I wonder if that's a specific like dialect region where people add like Canadians, the A. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe it is.
I don't know. Stupid.
I don't know.
Everybody's dumb except for me. So yeah, a quick one. Their second record, 66. This is a fun one. It's quirky. It's very unique for this kind of like hard rock era of music. All 4 of these guys, like, they didn't just write songs. They had to write songs. They were forced to like fucking write songs. That's like, what is that? What kind of contract like forces your drummer to write a song? That's a recipe for disaster.
They all wrote at least 2 songs on this one.
Except for, I think Daltrey was the only one that didn't write 2 songs.
Really? Oh, I thought he did too.
One of them didn't write 2 songs. It was either Daltrey or Townsend. I can't remember which one it was.
No, it was Townsend. No, he wrote it. He writes almost everything.
Which is why I thought it was bizarre, because either your lead singer's not writing the majority of the music, or your lead songwriter's not writing the majority of the music on this record. So it was one of those 2 guys. But anyway, dude, Keith Moon sings. He writes a rad song. It's fun. There's like country songs here. There's some just like good, wholesome, like fun stuffs. There's a lot of instrumental parts of this record. But the John Entwistle songs are super rad. It's just good storytelling. Yeah. And it's almost like he's channeling kind of like this Bob Dylan-esque of just telling a story while also...
They're kind of quirky too.
Yeah, while also just kind of like singing. And it's fun. It was a fun listen. I don't think I would ever go back to this, but at least these songs were fun. I had a good time listening to them.
That's how I feel about this one as well. So a quick one is my number 4.
Damn, girl.
My banger is Boris the Spider, the one of the John songs.
Yeah, that's John's signature song.
It's the only song that doesn't sound like the Who in their entire career. Like, this is the most standout song in the band's discography or song list, whatever. It's a cool song, man. It's really cool. And when this song came on, I'm like, okay, now I'm excited for the Who. I'm excited for what's coming up on the next few records. But then this is all you get from like quirky songs from the band is this song. So yeah, I mean, Boris the Spider is my banger, but because everybody kind of had their own songs on here, or they each had 2 songs really, a lot more styles were showcased. So there was like a lot more blues rock on here. There's some surf stuff, inspired songs on here. Some doo-wop I heard as well, and some soul. So that it was all over the place. It was really cool. I would never go back to it like you. I would never really go back to it, but it was a fun listen, and now I know.
Now I know.
So
Nothing at all.
what do you got for
Nothing at all.
Oh, also the song "A Quick One" while he's away was their first introduction into like the rock opera or like the concept song or concept record. This is the first time that they tried doing something like that. So I thought that was kind of cool too, this early on.
Yeah.
But all right, what do you got for number 3?
Number 3 is the album of the week. Who's next?
All right, my number 3 is Tommy.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a good record. This is also a record that I've had in my collection a few times, but I've purged it, and not because it's bad, because it is a really good record, but I'm never going to really find myself listening to Tommy again, especially the way it's formatted on vinyl to where, one LP is side 1 and 4 and the other LP is side 2 and 3, which is so frustrating, but it was done for a reason, I know, for like jukeboxes and shit like that, but it doesn't make for an easy listening experience for me, and that's really frustrating. Concept records are really cool, but I don't feel like the songs are super strong all the time, so I don't know. It's like, I think the concept and the story is super rad, and that's why it's as high as it is. But musically, I think it's just good. I don't think it's spectacular musically, but it's good. But I love the concept.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I really like the song Christmas as well. That's a really, really good song.
We'll get there. All right.
Yeah. And we're going to eventually do Tommy on the podcast. We're going to probably, I don't know when, but we're going to eventually do it. I'm going to do the record, talk about the movie and all that shit. So I'm sure we're not going to talk too much about it right now. But
if you don't want me to talk too much about it right now, that's fine. Okay.
Oh, I mean, you could touch upon it, but I feel like we should save a lot of it, obviously, for them when we eventually do it on the podcast.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So what do you got for number 2? Go.
Number 2 is My Generation, their first record, 65. This is bizarre stuff. This is groundbreaking stuff. This is like the most punk of anything that the 60s like English hard rock era has produced. This is weird. This is quirky. This is aggressive. And there's a lot of things to this record that are just noisy for no other reason than just to be obnoxious. And I like that. And I dig it. And like we get John Entwistle here, right? On like the title track, My Generation. We finally see like, holy fuck.
He rips it up.
A bass is an instrument, dude. It's okay to not be like a jazz bass player, and it's okay to be a hard rock bass player who fucking slays.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this is our introduction to the Who is My Generation. It's wild. Everybody in here is like bringing their A game, except for Pete. He's kind of like whatever's. But what he doesn't bring in like craftsmanship, again, he brings in like tonality. What he's doing with his instrument, how he's doing it is better than I should say how he's doing the sounds is more important than what he's doing with those sounds. And I think My Generation is both. Man, like My Generation could have been so much better had they got a producer that wasn't a fucking cuck. I think My Generation could have been so much better if they weren't trying to be somebody else, because there's so much potential here. There's so much aggression in this record.
It made for such a cool song though. The song My Generation.
The whole fucking record I think this record is damn near perfect. It truly is
a great
damn
record.
near perfect. And there's just, I don't know, man.
But they were also trying way too hard to make music for the mod culture of England at the time. That's what this record was all about.
But that was because of their boy Shell. Like they I mean, this could go into like the story of the Who or whatever, but like they produced a single to attract attention of their first producer, Shell, because he produced the Kinks, like the whole Really Got Me. And like, fuck that song. That song sucks, dude. I don't care about that song anymore.
Oh, that's a good song. Get out of here.
No.
Get out of here.
Unless it's Van Halen doing it, I don't care.
Get the fuck out of here.
And so
no, the Kinks version is better than the Van Halen one. Come on.
No, it's not. That's silly.
Yes,
boy
it
talk.
is. Get out of here.
What my generation should have been, it should have been more of like a psychedelia inspired garage rock thing. Instead, it was this kind of like poppy influence garage rock thing. Think like Left Bank, like Walker Ray Renee type garage rock sound, but like with the angst and aggression of Keith Moon on the drums. And John on bass just fucking ripping it up in the background. And I cannot believe how great this record is. And I like to imagine how much better this could have been without that dude as producer.
I mean, you can even argue at some points on this record that obviously the record predates the MC5, but this could be the introduction to punk. And some people do say this is like, what is it, proto-punk?
I think Pete Townshend is the original punk guitarist. Like I've said it multiple times. I still think so. He's a shitty guitar player, but it's how he plays the notes rather than the notes that he's playing is what makes it meaningful. Dude, they were like fucking 18, 19 years old when this shit came out, too.
That shit's pretty wild.
It's
also,
insane.
I read something about, I'm not quoting him like verbatim, obviously, but like Richie Blackmore said something about Pete Townshend, how he's not a great guitar player, but he's influenced so many people, including myself, because of his tone, how he used the feedback of the guitar or the amps, and that he wasn't like a single note player. He focused on chords and playing certain chord progressions and strumming a certain way, and that is his style. He didn't say that he was a bad guitar player, but just his focus and his style was just different than like a Jimmy Page or Jeff Beck of the time, and that he focused more on chord progressions rather than just like single note leads and shit like that.
Very, very different guitar player.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're not even, obviously Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page are far better guitar players than Pete, but Pete definitely had his style. But yeah, I guess I agree with he's like an early punker, definitely. But also one thing I didn't know about the song My Generation, also this is my number 2, so that's why I'm talking about it too. But the song My Generation, the stuttering that Roger does in that song, I didn't realize that was actually like that was him. I don't want to say making fun of
yes,
like
he was
tweakers.
Making fun of it. Yeah, he was literally making fun of tweakers. Yes,
I had no idea until this
spit
week.
in their face.
That was
like JG Generation.
What I also thought was so fascinating. It was so cool actually about the Who is that they fucking hated hippies. They hated hippie culture. They hated all that shit. When they played Woodstock, Pete got in a fight with Jimi Hendrix. Got in a fucking fight with Jimi Hendrix before they played about who was going to play first.
These don't fuck around, dude.
Yeah, we're going to get more into the wild stories and all that kind of crap on the main episode, but anyway, I don't know. That's all I got for My Generation.
Okay.
You have anything else on this one?
No. So your number 1's the album of the week. Who's next?
Yeah.
Mine's Tommy.
And yours is Tommy.
I love Tommy. I really, really do. I don't know if I should go into it now or like with my origin story because it really kind of like coincides. But I think
do origin story.
I think Tommy's great. I think it's well written. It flows as both a conceptual album and just like it is a seamless story. And I think that's what songwriters have a lot of trouble doing. Is it's easy to tell a story, whether the story be good or bad does not matter. It's easy to tell a story, but it's hard to tell a story through music. And so when your like cues are coming up and when you want people to feel a certain way because the story is supposed to make you feel a certain way, it's tough to always get those things to coincide. And also it makes sense, right? It has to be cohesive. And a lot of times it just doesn't happen. And again, like bringing up Billy Corgan, Autumn, it just doesn't make fucking sense. I don't get any of that through that. I don't get any of this emotion through the Autumn thing that Billy Corgan put out. It's just not a cohesive story. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't flow very well. The transitions are kind of wonky. Tommy is not like that. Tommy's a really fucking good. It's a well-written opera for one.
It is.
And it's an exceptionally written fucking this album. If you didn't even know anything about the concept of Tommy or the story of Tommy and you're thrown into it blind and deaf and dumb, you would understand what's going on from beginning to end.
Yeah, I would agree. I agree with you actually 100% on that. I think it is the greatest concept record ever made.
And it's
It
like,
is.
dude, we just like, dude, Tommy, these kids are like fucking, what are they, like 22 at this time, right?
I know.
Ish.
So ambitious at
They-
this time, especially.
They just took
They have
rock
nothing to base
music
this off
to
of.
new heights. They just
Yeah.
elevated everything. In like Zeppelin dropped their first record in '69, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, like Zeppelin's dropping. Like, we're getting into like the aggressive hard rock of the '70s, and the Who dropped Tommy. Like, we're going, like, we're
I know.
regressing almost. Like, what the fuck is happening here? We just took rock music to new heights, and the movie comes out, and the movie took movies to a new height. Like, the movie of Tommy did something for movies. I say movies a lot, and it sounds weird.
You are saying this a lot. Yeah.
The movie Tommy took film to new heights. It did something different. It allowed for musicians and filmmakers and actors to kind of coexist in the same pool and work together to achieve something extravagant. Even though the acting in the movie is fucking garbage. Rubbish, I guess they would say.
The Britlanders would say. No, I haven't seen the movie Tommy, so I can't say one way or
Dude,
the
the
other.
movie's
But
fun, man. You like the movie.
I'm sure it's fun. But yeah, I haven't seen it because we're not doing Tommy on this week. But eventually,
you like that
we will.
fucking. You like that shit,
You like
dude.
that fucking. You like that fucking.
You do. You like that fucking shit. Dude. You like that Shaun
Now,
of the.
okay, so
Dawn of the Dead
let's
stuff.
let's take a step back here. You were talking shit on Billy Corgan because of the Autumn, story and box set, but you're also comparing this to fucking Tommy. Come on, guy.
But
Come on, guy.
that was the first like true rock opera, right? What is Autumn called? It's called Autumn, a rock opera. And so
Yeah.
that was like the first thing that came to my head. There's plenty of other conceptual albums that have come out, like Coheed and Cambria has done it, and like get the fuck out of here, okay? I know there's diehard Coheed fans. There ain't no way you're following that Coheed story unless you read about it beforehand. No fucking way. But at
And we
least in
did
Coheed,
Coheed,
at least in
like,
Coheed,
2
the
years ago.
music is seamless. The music flows from beginning to end. When you hit like Good Apollo 4 to the end of 4 albums deep, it kind of is like a cohesive story, like ear-wise, whatever you're listening to. But Tommy's just
I just don't want to hear the Billy Corgan slander. That's all I'm
got
asking.
you. Okay, that's what you're.
That's all I'm asking.
That's what you're complaining about. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because you can't compare Autumn to Tommy. I mean, that's just even I agree with that. And I love Billy Corgan. I like Billy Corgan and Smashing Pumpkins more than the Who. But I can also say that Tommy is the greatest concept record ever made because it is hands down.
I mean, like for
don't talk shit
for all
about
of,
Autumn,
for all
'cause
of
it's good.
Autumn's faults, for everything that it falls short on. I think it's ambitious. I think it's fucking amazing. I think everything about it was really, really fun. And I respect somebody for trying. Like, no matter what, dude. It's like, what I mean? Like participation trophies and shit. We kind of get down on second place and third place. But, like, dude, at least they tried. Like, the opening band. We
This is
talked
your
about it.
backhanded compliment right here.
But, like, we were talking about the opening acts, right? For
Yeah.
last week, we were talking about the opening acts for like, bands that we want to go see. Dude, at least they tried. Like, you got to give them points for trying.
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
All right.
So, whatever.
So-
Tommy's the number one.
Tommy is your number one. All right. So we have anything else? Who's next? Obviously my number one. So got anything else?
That's it. That's
All right,
it.
thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, tell all your friends, and stay tuned for the main episode because we are getting into Who's Next from The Who. And that's it. That's all.
Come on.